Hello and welcome to another installment of Instant Transmissions, Instant Reaction, where we give our quick and off-the-cuff thoughts on anything happening in or around the Dragon Ball universe. For those unfamiliar, this is our quick and dirty format, so less preparation and much less scripting goes into the episode. In other words, this is a very raw format. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Dragon Ball Battle Hour that happened this month in April of 2026. And with all that covered, did you want to give us a brief breakdown of what the Battle Hour is, Todd?
Yes. So I had this here somewhere. Totally prepared. The Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour is an event basically created for Dragon Ball fans. It took place in Los Angeles this year, I think April 18th and 19th. And it basically they have stage events, interactive booths, and then a bunch of different experiences to showcase Dragon Ball, primarily games. It's called Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2026. But they also had a few announcements for some anime content. We got a few new trailers. And I think they also ran a couple of tournaments, but that won't really be the focus here. We're going to be primarily focusing on the announcements and trailers that got released at Battle Hour.
Yeah, and the first one we're going to be talking about here in a minute is probably simultaneously the least exciting announcement, but also kind of an important release that's going to be on the horizon here pretty soon. The first trailer we're going to talk about is the Dragon Ball Super Beerus trailer. And I'm going to let you guys know right now, I didn't really notice anything about this trailer that got me excited, really. Like, I don't really know what they were teasing here, but it all seemed pretty, I don't know, like stuff we'd seen before, unless I'm really missing something here, Todd.
Not a lot. I mean, the animation looks solid. I'll say that.
It does look better. It does look better, but are we comparing it to the series, or are we comparing it to Battle of Gods is the question.
I mean, that's an interesting point, right? The Battle of Gods movie, to me, looks fantastic, minus a few CGI portions. But yeah. I mean, at least just seeing the trailer so far, this animation doesn't stand up to the movie. But I mean, I'm excited to give it a shot. One of the things that I personally kind of had a nitpick about this trailer is that they show like Goku and Beerus fighting, and that's supposed to be, the big event. And then they tease Frieza at the end. And I'm like, it's not really much of a tease when we already know what's coming after Beerus.
And for me, like, the big thing with this is, and everyone's talking about it, right? You can see it in every comment section, every forum. This is the third or fourth time they're doing the Beerus arc. What are they going to do to make it worth doing a fourth time? Because, like we just mentioned, we've got the animated series and we've got the movie, but also this is all coming from the manga, right? So this is the fourth time that this arc has been done. What more could you possibly add to it that warrants it being redone? And I mean, that's what I wanted them to show here. I know I've said this before in different casts that we've done. I'm excited for them to make a more concise version of Super the Animated Series. So I think this is a necessary release. I think it's something that I will watch, that I'm excited about. But what this trailer needed to do was show me what is better about this release over the previous one. They need to do something like side by sides, or pick some of the more problematic scenes and show how they fixed it. Like, you needed to get me on board with this trailer, and it really feels like they just did a generic trailer for it, and this isn't a generic release, so it kind of was misfitting for me.
I kind of feel the same. This trailer doesn't do a lot for me. It honestly, the first trailer that they released for the Beerus remake, I thought did a better job, because it does show some of the problematic scenes and they do have better animation. But this one, it doesn't do much for me, truly. It's only about a minute long, and even like the last 15 seconds are basically just showing Frieza reforming. And yeah, I mean, the rest of it's just kind of little snippets of Goku and Beerus fighting, and they're fine. Like, it looks, again, the animation looks solid. It's just not outstanding or anything.
Yeah, if we could get some redone up, like some kick-ass reanimations of some of the fun scenes put back on the screen for me. I am still fairly excited for this release, but this trailer really didn't do anything to move the needle for me. I thought the trailer was a miss. This is not a critique of the actual release that's coming up. This is a critique of what they presented here. I thought they could have done better.
Same. I agree. I'm still looking forward to it. I think it is. I think Dragon Ball Super Beerus is a good direction to move with Super. I think that you said it before, Dayton, that we kind of would love to have like a definitive version to watch that is where you don't have to just go to like, well, I'm just going to watch the movies instead of this version. So yeah, I hope that it turns out well. I just don't. The trailer wasn't great.
And I think for me that pretty much wraps up the Beerus content. There wasn't a ton to talk about there. That's going to move us into the Xenoverse 2 Future Saga Chapter 4 release that's coming out. And I don't follow really the games that closely at all. I don't think you follow it very closely either, right, Todd?
Correct.
And so for us, we don't understand the full context of this release, but what we do know is that the Saga Chapter 4 is going to be the final DLC expansion for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So this is going to be the last big release that this game's going to get. From what I could tell, people were excited about this release. It looks like it's going to be pretty decent. And so, and I mean, and it's hard for me to comment on this one just because I'm so far removed from what it is. I don't know if you were able to pick up anything else from it.
The only little bits and pieces that I kind of picked up from the trailer itself, or at least from my very limited understanding of the Xenoverse game, and I've played some of Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2, but I have not kept up with any of the DLCs or any of that stuff. It looks like it's going to have Fu, who is from the Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime. So I don't know. I'm glad people are excited for it. I'm shocked that people are excited for it. Because the promotional anime is not. I've watched all of it. It's not particularly well done. But I mean, if people are excited for the content, cool. I'm glad that people are excited to see the last chapter of Xenoverse 2. And it's going to lead into one of our conversations for one of the next trailers as well.
Yeah. So this one I'm just touching on because I don't feel like I know enough about it to really give some deep insights, but it is coming out. It is, from what I'm able to find, confirmed to be the last DLC. So anyone out there who plays these games, this is going to be one to look for because it's going to be the last one you're going to get. But outside of that release, we're going to move into the next video game announcement, which is the Sparking Zero Super Limit Breaking Neo, which is a bunch of word soup to me. But this is another one where, like I said, we don't really play these games, but people were really excited about this announcement. Like the comment sections were just blowing up about this one. And this one's not set to release until 2027. So it's kind of cool to see people excited for something this far out.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I really have not touched Sparking Zero. I even had planned on getting it and playing it when it first came out. And I like the concept. It's basically like a big toy box, like the old I forget the original name of these, but the old Sparking games effectively. I'm glad we're getting more characters for it. It looks like we're getting a bunch of guys like Jocko is going to be in here now. I think some of the characters from GT are going to be in here, some of the Shadow Dragons and things. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. The visuals look great. I wish I had the time to play it.
Also, just a quick note of clarification. I said 2027. This one's coming out summer 2026. And I mean, my thing is the update does. I like it when they release games and continue to actually add meaningful content to them, because this game came out in fall of 2024. So it's not a new release, but it's not an old release either. And to see such a big content dump for a game that's about a year and a half old-ish, I like it. That I think showing support for that style of game or showing support for your games like that really encourages me to buy their next game because I know they're going to take care of me. So I just like, from a consumer standpoint, the fact that they're continuing to take proper care of the people who bought the game. And I am just leaning a lot into what people are saying because I don't personally know. But if they're excited, then I'm assuming that they're treating them well. So this is going to be a kind of a tip of the hat for me for this release and the developers on this one.
One of the things that I think is cool about this too is that usually releases like this, DLC, are just like, here's some skins or here's some characters or maybe some extra stages. And this has all of that. But one of the things that comes in towards the end of the trailer is there's actually entirely new fighting game mechanics, which is, I mean, that's wild for a DLC to update the game mechanics like that. They have, I think, what they call a new battle system with Chain Blast, which allows you to follow up an ally's special moves. So I think that's like following it up with one of the other characters on your roster. And then they have
that's fun.
Sparking Boost, which, again, we don't know a ton about the mechanics of this game, but it sounds like some sort of bar that you charge up and then you get to unleash a final attack of some kind. So all of these sound really cool.
And also, I'm going to say right off the bat, out of all the game trailers and everything we watched, this one was the most exciting one just from a visual / musical standpoint. I thought the scores, that the way they dropped them into the trailer, were great. There's fighting the entire time and they were showing off the new mechanics. This is a 10 out of 10 trailer presentation for me. Like, I don't play this game, but I was kind of excited watching it.
Yeah, 100%. They even, like, towards the end of the trailer too, they have there's a track, I think it's a track that's just called Zero by Hironobu Kageyama. I don't know much about the composer, but it is a awesome track. I mean, the whole trailer it's like 3.5 minutes, and it is just a fun watch, even if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we took the Beerus trailer and we were, if we had to rate it, and we're over here saying it's not the best, it's probably, 2 or 3 out of 10. This is probably a 10 out of 10 for trailer.
It's
as far as trailers.
10.
Yeah.
Everything was exciting, and like the music was great. The stuff they were showing was great. And I mean, in the stuff that they were revealing was great. Like you said, they were showing the new mechanics that they were adding to their game. That, like, it doesn't get much better than that. That's what I want with the Beerus stuff, is show me the new thing you're doing. Show me the reason why I should care about this. And this trailer was nothing but, you saw the new characters, you saw like the new maps and levels, and I don't know. Like, you also had a bunch of original voice actors voicing over the different characters in there, which also just kind of gets me a little bit excited too. I like hearing these characters' voices.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with all of that. I will say I was a little bit confused. I think that this is DLC, but like you said, the word soup that is the title was probably my only, like, what is this? Is this a new game? Is this a DLC? Like, Super Limit Breaking Neo? Like, it almost makes it sound like it's an entirely different game or something. But that was my only, like, what is happening here?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, if you Google the right set of words, this will not get confused with anything else. But make sure you Google the right set of words.
That's true. But yeah, I think, again, 10 out of 10 for that trailer, which kind of leads us into really the one that I was most excited to talk about, if I'm being honest. And that's going to be the trailer for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3.
Do you want me to kind of give a quick refresher on what Xenoverse 3 is?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is a new game that's set to release in 2027, and this game takes place in basically a brand new timeline. It's during the year 1000, which didn't mean anything to me, so I had to look up the fact that this is like a couple hundred years after like Dragon Ball Z Super timeline. So this is a couple hundred years in the future from where normal Dragon Ball is set. There seems to be a lot of new characters, but as we learn, not entirely. And this is kind of, I think, one of the biggest video game announcements in a long time for Dragon Ball. I think this is a big project that people are really looking forward to. And if I remember correctly, Akira Toriyama did have his hand in some of this, right?
I think, yeah, I think that this one has been in production for a while. They definitely throw Akira Toriyama's name on this for him having done some work on it. Even the trailer, it's almost a 4 minute long trailer, and it has, I mean, full anime style. We're watching animation here at the beginning of it, and we get to see like to us a brand new character that we've never seen before. He's it says that he's in the age 1000. He turns on some music from some other cute elf girl, and it very much has the like modern day, I would say the better side of modern day Dragon Ball animation. It looks very much like I think of Daima, especially like the character design of like the pink elf girl looks like something straight out of Daima. Um, but yeah, it's, I mean, I really like what we get here, and I think it kind of leads into, we see this guy running through this like kind of futuristic city, and then transforming in like kind of a Great Saiyaman sort of style. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and also this character that they introduce us to, it looks like he's wearing some sort of like green and yellow martial arts uniform kind of vibe. It almost reminds me of a little bit of like Crane School, the way that those colors work together. And this trailer, it's kind of, there's a lot going on here, right? So when we see him running through town listening to pop music, he gets contacted by characters that appear familiar to us. Looks like Bulma's one of the people contacting him, which is weird because we're 200 years in the future from where we know she existed. And Gamma 1, who also appear to be working with him. And they contact him about something. That's when he goes through that like Great Saiyaman-esque transformation. I'm wondering if there's some time travel involved with this, because that seems to be a lot of the video games play with the time travel, because then you get to play with all the characters, right? So I'm going to just right off the rip say that there's probably time travel, but that's me guessing.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally Xenoverse is like you work with, I think it's called the Time Patrol. So you're working with
Is that
like
Jocko's group?
uh oh that's the Galactic Patrol. But
Okay.
the Time Patrol is like Trunks, and there's another pink girl character who's like the lead of the Time Patrol. I can't remember what her name is, um but you kind of work with those guys going through time and like fixing the messed up timelines. This, I mean, like you said, there's absolutely some element of uh, time wibbly wobbliness here, because yeah, Balma is present in the age 1000, which I mean, Balma's a human. She should be dead in the age 1000. So I don't know what's going on exactly, but maybe Balma is one of the people working with the Time Patrol in this instance, and you're working with people from the future, from age 1000. Uh, it makes me curious. It makes me want to know more. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's because they don't really reveal a whole lot here. And Bulma being revealed is definitely raises an eyebrow. It could be in Super, they mentioned how she would collect the Dragon Balls and wish herself to be like 5 years younger or whatever. So it could just be um she kept doing that, and just so she's still around. Eventually those years are gonna add up and people are gonna notice, but yeah, anyway, I'll keep going through the trailer because I'm just taking stabs at the dark here.
Yeah, yeah.
We get some shots of him, this character who did the Great Saiyaman transformation, flying around. Then we see like there's a shift in the graphics. We are no longer in a animated version of this character. We are in a much more in-game version of this character. And so we see him like land on the ground, stand up, and then next to him we see a white-haired male character, and the two are preparing to do some sort of hero work. And we've seen this white-haired male character before. I believe he was like one of the first characters previewed for this Universe 3, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know that we know much about the white-haired character beyond that.
He doesn't even speak.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't speak. The other character does. And he's got kind of like I mean, he's teasing the white-haired character, like, "Hey, I might steal the show here," and it kind of gives this vibe, like it sounds like they get called on to help with some problem, and both of these characters are wearing effectively the same uniform, so they're part of some sort of team or force, or maybe the Time Patrol or something here. Um, I mean, again, I have so many questions, and we kind of get to see the 3D models, and then the trailer. I actually really I like most of this trailer, but I like this scene in particular towards the end where it's like your character is waking up, and I think it's supposed to be that main spiky haired character that we see waking up, but inside a I don't know, presumably his bedroom, and you see all kinds of futuristic capsule corpse stuff here. There's like some sort of capsule that kind of looks like a healing pod or something. And then there's like a little robot guy who like changes the view of the digital window and then opens the window. And that's when we get Balma, where she kind of comes crashing into the window from some sort of hover bike thing. Uh, yeah,
So it looks like when you open your eyes and you're in that first person view, the character, you're actually the white haired character in the scene. Because when they switch over to Bulma, you can see that character like on the floor holding his head kind of in the background. So I think the white haired character is actually the one you will be playing as. And then it looks like the other younger guy who does the transformation, he's gonna be like your partner, maybe like I don't want to say mentor, but it sounds like he might be like a student who's ahead of you is almost what it sounded like.
That's a great point. Yeah, and I forgot that you're right. It is the white haired character there. Um yeah, I mean again, I have so many questions. This is super it's very interesting. We get a new character design for Balma. We get to see like the 3D models for presumably what the game is going to look like. A couple things I'm going to start with. So I'm going to start with the bad here first because I think there's a lot of good here, but to get the bad out of the way, I'm not a big fan of the 3D character models. They honestly, to me, they look like Xenoverse 2 character models. They don't look like any sort of improvement, really. And
I had the exact same note that this does not look like a next gen engine. Like this, if you put this blindly with some of the other Dragon Ball games that have come out over the last 5 or even 10 years, I couldn't tell you which one was the newest game. And like the colors are all really saturated. So like the greens are really green and the blues are really blue and the lines are like really thick on these characters. So it's also very stylized.
Yeah, and I mean I'm okay with the stylized stuff. Honestly, I usually prefer things like Sparking Zero or gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank on. There was another Fighters. Fighters actually might have been my favorite look for like a 3D animated game, but even Fighters is kind of like 2.5D. But Sparking Zero is still, to me, looks visually. I like the character models better because they look more like animated characters. Like they almost look like they've been drawn over 3D models. These just look like 3D models, and to me, Dragon Ball characters in just 3D video game models always look a little bit awkward, and I'm just not a big fan of that part.
I think I'm there with you. And actually, I just brought up Fighters since you mentioned it. And this, I mean, it definitely looks like it's a little bit more arcadey than what this game is trying to be. But I'm with you. I like it when you lean into making it look more like the media it's trying to imitate. Because like you said, the 3D models just look a little off with these characters. Also, I want to point out all these characters are pretty skinny. So we're my big hunky muscular men because that also looks out of place to me.
I mean, I always prefer the big beefy dudes in Dragon Ball. I mean, it feels like modern Dragon Ball is moving away from that, and it's not my favorite. I'm not a big fan of it. But we'll see. I mean, we've only seen a couple of characters, so maybe they have other big beefy characters.
My biggest complaint is I haven't seen any fighting from this game yet. And so it's hard for me to give it any sort of a judgment call because at the end of the day, I'm into Dragon Ball games for the fighting. I haven't played too many of them. I played a couple of the Tenkaichis and I played I think the first Xenoverse. But it's all about the fighting for me. Like if everything else is not very great but the fighting's good, I will still play the game. So the fact that we're getting the opposite side of that coin first for me is just like, all right, like this is neat, but show me the good stuff.
That's fair. I will say the first trailer we got had it was this white-haired character fighting, right? But admittedly that was animated for the trailer, even though I think they were kind of 3D models, but I didn't get the impression that that's what the video game fights were going to look like. Um I would love to see more fighting. I want to see, like, I like the the view of the world that we get. The world looks cool, and I want to see how you get to explore that world. Like in Xenoverse 2, it tried to let you explore like cities and stuff, but it still felt very contained.
I can definitely see that. Man, open world in video games is it's such a nice edge to try and balance on, because if you don't put enough content into it, like, then it feels like you're exploring this empty world, and that's not very fun. But at the same time, say if you put too much content into it, you might feel like you're being overwhelmed by, I don't know, like World of Warcraft explanation points all around you as you step into town. And it's like, all right, like, you've got to be able to balance it just right, where there's enough content for you to do to make the world feel alive and like you're actually making decisions, but you also don't want to be overwhelmed by it or underwhelmed by it. So if they are giving us like a true like Dragon Ball open world experience, one, if they can pull it off, it'd be badass. And two, if they can pull it off. So this is going to be a monumental, I guess, problem or undergoing for them to try and pull off.
Yeah. I do have to say too, one other thing that was a downside for me, before we, like, there's plenty of good stuff that we've kind of already been touching on, but when we saw the original trailer and it just called it like Project Age 1000, I was super excited for something brand new. And when they announced this as a Xenoverse 3, I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of feel that. It's because if you can make it its own unique IP and own unique experience, you're really not shackled by any expectations. You can actually kind of do whatever you want, which could give you a lot of creative freedom to come up with something really special.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want. And I mean, the Xenoverse games are cool. I like getting to play through the different timelines and, go back in time and fix things and get to play as all these different characters and stuff, but we've done it twice. And not only have we done it twice, Xenoverse 2 came out almost 10 years ago, and they've been releasing DLC for that for all of that time. And so it's like, we've played Xenoverse a lot for a very long time. I was hoping for something new. I think they still can give us something new. I'm hoping that the gameplay is a different format than what we've had with previous Xenoverse games. I'm not holding my breath, because it would also be very easy for them to fall into the same Xenoverse format.
Yeah, you're basically hoping that it's not turning into another like Call of Duty release cycle.
Yeah. I just don't want more of the same. I wanted, like, I saw Age 1000 and I got excited, and I thought maybe they're, doing like a full MMO style RPG or something. But I hope that they give us a new format. I'm not as excited as I was when I thought it was something brand new versus a Xenoverse 3.
Yeah, I'm actually in the exact same boat for you. I'm kind of waiting to really have an opinion on this, because I don't even know if I'm the demographic for this game at this point. I don't know who they're trying to sell this game to. Are you trying to sell it to the explorers or the fighters or the lore people, or you trying to take a little bit from each category? Should I critique this game? Because I'm not going to critique a game that's not for me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I need them to show me a little bit more, which I get that we're still at least a year out. But I'm sitting here like, all right, like, should I be excited? Because you're giving me these trailers. You obviously know what this game is going to be. Just give me a little bit more about what you're actually doing, because I still feel like I'm in the dark on most of it.
Yeah, right. So really, those are most of my negative points, I'll say. I there are a lot of positive points here, and then there's also a lot of questions that I have. So, I mean, positive points. I like the animation. I like the sequence in the beginning that we get for the animated portion of this. They give me lots of questions. I want to know who this character is that has like the spiky hair. I want to know who he's working for. So two things about that. And one, I've heard some people online say that this character with the black spiky hair is or could be a descendant of Goku, like way down the line, which is fine. That could be interesting.
I think Yamcha, but continue on.
He looks like Yamcha, doesn't he? Like to me, the vibe of his outfit honestly looks very Yamcha.
I thought he looked a little bit like Yamcha. I also felt like I think the way he held his hands gave me some like Wolfang fist vibes, like the way his fighting style kind of looked. But I don't know. I didn't look that closely at it. I might just be making stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said his outfit kind of has the Crane School vibes, but the first thing I thought honestly was Yamcha. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The other thing though is that for the I mean, first of all, he has a little wrist communicator thing that has the Capsule Corp symbol on it, and that's how Gamma One reaches out to him, or Bulma and Gamma One, I guess. And they also have this other symbol that's like I don't know if it's a GS or a G5. I couldn't quite tell, but it's like on on this guy's shoulder arm on the uniform that he transforms. So I don't know if that's like I don't know what it's supposed to stand for. Galactic something? Galactic Space Patrol? I have no idea what it's supposed to be. And then he has like a number on his other arm too. So, I mean, these are obviously indications to what team or patrol or whatever they're working for and what that means and looks like. But I don't know any details. I want to know more.
Yeah, and I mean Gamma One is kind of an interesting character for them to kind of pluck and insert into the story, right? Like he's assumably kind of an immortal-ish android robot thing, so he could very well be alive at this point. The one question I have is if we're not doing time traveling and he's just lived till this point, then he would be aware of every event that happens during the original Dragon Ball storyline, and so you would have some plot holes that you would have to kind of keep in mind, right? Like you would have some questions.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting parts about this too is that, at least from what I've read online, the companies working on this game worked with Akira Toriyama to have Akira Toriyama determine what the Dragon Ball universe would look like 200, 250, 300 years in the future. And so they must at least have a rough skeleton or scaffolding of notes of like, okay, these are the events that happened, or this is what the universe looks like and why. And so maybe actually, to your point, maybe Gamma One is a way of giving some of that information to us as the audience and the players of the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be down with that. That sounds pretty cool. Um I mean, I think for me, and I know we already kind of talked about it, like the thing I'm most excited for is like when you see that window open up, right? And you actually look out into the Dragon Ball universe and like you see the head kind of pan around, look left and right and up, and you see all the cars flying over. That one little scene is probably one of the most like personally immersed moments I've ever had looking at the Dragon Ball universe. And like you're used to all these super powered characters flying around, all this crazy stuff going on. It's kind of interesting getting that feeling of being a normal like citizen living in one of these future societies. I just thought it was like kind of a cool little glimpse into like what the regular person experiences when they live in the Dragon Ball universe.
Yeah. Yeah, that like I like the anime sequence in the beginning quite a bit, but that sequence of this white-haired character waking up in his bed and opening up the window, that felt really good to me. Like I want more of that. I want to explore this world. And so that's kind of why I'm hoping, like I said, Xenoverse, you kind of explore like a city or two or something. but it just feels so constricted and contained. And I'm hoping that we get to explore the world more. I think the other side of that is actually the Dragon Ball, oh god, what's it called? It's like just Dragon Ball Goku or something. But it's the a much more kind of like open world game where you play through the Dragon Ball Z narrative, playing as Goku. But that one to me has kind of the problem that you mentioned, Dayton, with like an open world where it's open-ish and it feels kind of empty. Like there doesn't feel like there's a lot going on. But at least the shot that we get, that first person shot that we get of the city that this white haired character opens his window into, it looks very alive. There's a lot going on. There's lots of cars moving around and things. So that I want to explore.
Yeah, it's really scary though because I've followed a lot of video game development throughout the years. And the thing with like that shot where you show all the cars and you show the city and like it looks amazing, it's actually really, really easy to set up a tech demo for a shot like that. Like all the shadows and assets don't take very long to implement. Like usually game engines will do a lot of that for you. So I really temper my expectations in something like that because you don't know how much of that world you showed you is real and how much of it is staged. And so you can't really glean a whole lot other than intent based off of that one shot.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great point. The Yeah, I'm hoping that they, it's not just a shot that they give us and then they kind of do a bit of a bait and switch on us, but we'll have to see. I mean,
It looks great though. Like I don't want to like short sell it too much because it's like I said, I felt super immersed seeing your character walk up to the edge of that apartment and look out into the world. Like if you can actually deliver that vision you gave me, then there's a lot to like about this. But like I don't want to pump this up too much because for all we know, that shot is 100% staged and you will never actually really experience that.
and that's why, I mean, I know you mentioned you want to see fighting from the game. I just want to see the game, like actual
Mhm.
gameplay. And it's early. I get it. We're getting trailers and teasers and stuff, and that's totally fine. I want to see more. I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm interested. So you guys have my attention. Just you know do something with it. I hope that you can deliver on the interest that you guys are creating with this game, and I hope it's going to be more than just more Xenoverse.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like as far as a trailer goes, it did hook me. Or at least piqued my interest a little bit because I do want to know. I do want to follow this and I want to see how the game develops. I like I said, I don't know if I'm the target demographic for this game or not because we haven't seen hardly any gameplay. We don't know if this is going to be just another Xenoverse game, but upgraded, or if it's going to be a completely new experience. I'm right there with you. I'm kind of hoping that this Xenoverse really offers me a different gaming experience. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a tough sell.
One thing I just thought about too, in that almost every Dragon Ball game, just period, full stop, including Xenoverse, we are playing through the events of the manga and the anime. Even in Xenoverse, you're still playing through those events, but as if they had happened in a slightly different way. So you're playing through like altered timelines. I'll be honest, this takes place in Age 1000. I hope we're just playing in the Dragon Ball universe, and I hope that we're not following the manga. I hope we're actually getting new narratives in this Age 1000 timeline. And that sounds way more interesting to me.
I'm 100% with you. Like I'm 1,000% with you because every other game you're just like, oh yeah, like for me, I can only replay the same story so many times before it's just like, all right, well, like I watched the story, then I played through it 3 times. I don't have a strong want to play through it a 4th or 5th time. And especially like if I played it through once and really enjoyed it in one game, I don't have a lot of motivation to go try another game because I've already got this one. And things are a little different if you've got, say, like a PvP more oriented fighting game, right? Where it's like, all right, well, now the intricate mechanics are something that I'm paying closer attention to. But I don't think the Xenoverse games, as far as I know, were really touted for their player versus player experience. But like I said, I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah, if I remember right, and I think you and I did this briefly in one of the Xenoverse games, but you could play like co-op and do some of the missions together. But yeah, I honestly, I mean, I played so many Dragon Ball games. I've been playing them for 30 years at this point almost. Like the number of times that I've played through, particularly the Z timeline from Vegeta to Buu, it's literally dozens, if not hundreds at this point. I don't want to do it again. I genuinely do not care to do it again. Give me something new. Give me something brand new in this timeline, and I will be super excited to play it.
Yeah, and it's not like there aren't characters that could use, say, a video game to flesh them out more. Like, I don't know, maybe a video game where you get to play as young Master Roshi and go through his experiences. Sure, why not? Like, that might be a neat playthrough. But like you said, we get the exact same storylines or timelines that just keep getting regurgitated to us over and over again. And they might be great. They might be a lot of fun, but I can only be so excited about the same storyline so many times. And I mean, I don't know how many times we got to say it, but this year 1000 game, the Xenoverse 3, it really needs to take advantage of the time skip and the freedom that it has to kind of do whatever it wants. I will be disappointed if it's just a lot of weird nostalgia pulls. Like if it's more time travel or a bunch of ham-fisted villains thrown back in that we all already know and recognize, that'll be kind of a disappointment to me. But if they really take their creative license and go nuts with it, even if it's like not perfect, like even if there are mistakes or problems with it, I will be a lot more lenient with them if they're taking like creative risks with this game. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. I very much agree. It's again, they have my attention. Like I'm very curious and excited to see what they do with it. I think if they stick in that age 1000, they could have a great product, a great game. I mean, expanding the Dragon Ball universe and just getting to play in it without having to play the narrative we all know already sounds so cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Like I'm hoping that's what they do. I will be very bummed if they go into like, all right, we're just time traveling back to the age 700 and saving all those timelines. I'm like, get out of here. I've played this 20 times before.
Well, and like I said, I just sent you visual evidence of why I think this person is a descendant of Yamcha. Rear hand position is identical. This is Yamcha's great grandchild confirmed. So you're all welcome. You heard it here first.
He gives me Yamcha vibes. He's even got scars on his face and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's passed down from generation to generation.
It's genetic.
No, I am pretty excited for this one. Like you said, this is one that we're going to be keeping an eye on. We'll see how it develops. Hopefully, it turns out to be a brand new fun experience for everybody. And yeah, I'm hoping that maybe we talk about it a lot more here in the future.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this one. You got anything else here, Dayton?
I don't think so. I also don't remember how we end these episodes. Do you remember?
Nope, but we're gonna figure it out. That's gonna be it for wait, is that the thing? Yes, that's it for this episode of Instant Transmission, where we discuss everything Dragon Ball. Wait, nope, I lied to you. I did it wrong. That's it for this instant reaction episode of Instant Transmission. This has been your host, Todd.
And Dayton.
This episode should be coming out as soon as it's recorded, so be sure to join us next time for something. Anything, could be anything. Maybe another movie, definitely more Dragon Ball, but absolutely more of Dayton and I making fools of ourselves like we just did. And to all our fellow Dragon Ball fans, stay safe out there, and remember to keep rocking the dragon.
Power up your day with instant transmission. Join hosts Dayton and Todd.
I got
as
it. I'm
they
going to
dive
use it.
deep
All right.
into the electrifying world of Dragon Ball.
Nice.
From epic battles and